Hey, Marchesa. Marchesa Damati. I knew she was an Italian princess. You know, always had a soft spot. Grew up on the East Coast, and they were all over the place. Now, of course, there is a little lore behind Marchesa. She's passed over for the dudes in the family, her brothers, for the kingdom. You know, then her and Kaya, they get that girl power, and they kill Brago's spirit, whatever that means. And now she's the queen of Paliano, which is a magical Italy. So we got a new card to talk about, to rant about a little bit. But I want to pause and thank all you bros out there. We got Valcom Canis. He asked about Dracuthseth Maw of Flames. See my response on Buy Me a Coffee for some deck tag, brother. Thanks for liking and subscribing and being awesome. We got Marchesa, Dealer of Death out here. 1 blue, black, and a red for a legendary creature. Human rogue, it's a 3/4. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So targeting opponents, anything they control, and or cards in their graveyard is a crime. You should have folded when you had the chance, you idiot. Now you have this 3-mana commander with a slightly above average stats. The ability to loot and effectively draw a card for 1 mana is great. It's pretty wide in terms of themes you could go with. And guess what? We're going to delineate some of those themes for you today. So mechanically, first off, looking at the top 2 cards and putting 1 into your hand and 1 into your graveyard isn't drawing a card. So it won't trigger those types of things that care about drawing a card. It isn't Surveil, so it doesn't care about that. It isn't Mill. It's a unique thing all its own, and it's pretty powerful. It also isn't the same as looting, where you draw a card and discard a card, or rummaging, where you discard and then draw a card. It also isn't the same thing as rooting, which is what I do in my refrigerator. But it does have the effect of seeing 2 cards and putting 1 into the graveyard. Black has access to all sorts of neat reanimate effects and some mass reanimate effects that make looting fun. The fact that you have to pay 1 mana for this effect is kind of bunk, but you can trigger it for every crime you commit, which is pretty nice. So once again, targeting opponents, anything they control, and or cards in their graveyards is a crime. So wargame this with me for a minute here. So if an opponent casts a spell, say they cast Go for the Throat, right? They control that spell while it's on the stack. Now say you cast Abstruse Interference, right? 2 and a blue for an instant has Devoid. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1, and you create a little Eldrazi Scion token. You know, it's not a great card, but it specifically states its controller and target. So is this a crime? You know, it's targeting something on the stack. The crime text says anything they control, so I think so. So counter spells, bolt bends, things like that are crimes. You could definitely lean on a control strategy with this, but make sure you read every card. Some cards say choose a creature they don't specifically target, stuff like that. Now let me know if you think I'm wrong about any of this stuff in the comments below. I haven't seen any rulings on crimes yet, but you could definitely go into tricky cards that target, like Modify Memory. 4 and a blue for a sorcery, exchange control of 2 target creatures controlled by different players. If you control neither creature, draw 3 cards. This brings up my other question. If I target 2 creatures with Modify Memory, have I committed 2 crimes? Could I pay 2 mana and do my commander's ability twice? Well, I would say yes. Targeting opponents, anything they control, and or cards in their graveyards is a crime. So I targeted 2 things, therefore 2 crimes. Now what are some themes we can go with besides Reanimator? Well, we could go full on crime, include a theft sub-theme. You know what's a great card to reanimate? Molten Primordial, 5 red for a creature avatar, it's a 6/4 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, gain control of up to 1 target creature that player controls until end of turn. Untap those creatures, they gain haste until end of turn. Fantastic. As former President Trump would say, wow. That's 3 crimes, brother. This guy's a veritable crime family. Certainly a Steel and Sack Reanimator deck would work great. You also have Conquering Manticore. Alright, hang on a second, dude. Everybody just appreciate the art on this thing. Truly beautiful card. This is a monster. And if you want to go with a steel deck, you need that second part, which is sacrifice outlets to sack all your opponent's stuff for value. But you want to include ones that commit more crimes, like Goblin Bombardment. 1 and a red for an enchantment, sacrifice creature, Goblin Bombardment deals 1 damage to any target. Fantastic card, man. This is just a great sack outlet. Then we have Altar of Dementia. 2 generic mana for an artifact, sacrifice a creature, target player mills cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power. You could target yourself if you wanted to, but you want to hit your opponent so you commit more crimes. This got a little pricey, dude. I did snag this version when it was cheap like a real hyena in the terrible blackness of the horrible night. And never forget about the Forgotten Gods here. Look at this little hottie, also known as my ex-girlfriend, the Priest of Forgotten Gods. 1 in a black for a creature, human cleric. It's tap, sacrifice 2 other creatures. Any number of target players lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature. You add black, black, and draw a card, so you are targeting people with this. You could also go with a tribal sub-theme if you wanted to. Demons, there are 48 that say target. Some of them are pretty good. Like this guy, Lord Xander the Collector, 4 blue, black, and a red for a legendary creature, vampire, demon, noble. It's a 6/6. When this guy enters the battlefield, target opponent discards half the cards in their hand rounded down. When he attacks, defending player mills half their library rounded down. And when he dies, target opponent sacrifices half the non-land permanents they control rounded down. This guy is a damn salt master. Feeds your opponent's graveyards quite nicely for a timely reanimate, animate dead, or necromancy. All 3 of these were recently reprinted, reanimate from any graveyard, and are about $5 to $6 each. Great time to pick up a copy if you got the cheddar. Another great card for a Steel and Sack deck is Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos. This guy's 3 in a black for a legendary creature, Ogre Demon. It's a 4/4, has black, sacrifice creature, scry 2. 2 in a red, tap, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos, he commits a crime, dude. He deals damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. This guy's a damn sacrifice outlet, has some nice top deck manipulation, and can target some idiot who dares cross you. That's a crime, brother. Could also go with a dragon sub-theme if you wanted to. Go with that creature type, man. There are about 80 or so dragons that will enable our commander and commit crimes like the old Bogardan Hellkite. This guy comes in, deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Or you could reanimate an astral dragon. This guy is 6 blue creature dragon. It's a 4/4 with flying. When he enters the battlefield, create 2 tokens that are copy of target, non-creature permanents, except they're 3/3 dragon creatures in addition to their other types and have flying. Massively useful and fun reanimator target. But you know what? The real secret sauce with Marchesa, the death deal is humans, dude. There are 622 humans that are in to commit some crimes. So we got the Agent of Treachery out there, 5 blue creature, human rogue. It's a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent. That's a real crime, dude. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more permanents you don't own, draw 3 cards. This guy doesn't look like much. He's just a dude. Kind of looks like me without the egregiously large triceps, but this guy does a ton of work. Hostage Taker. I think people sleep on this card, man. 2 blue and a black for a creature, human pirate. It's 2/3. When it enters, exile another target creature or artifact until it leaves the battlefield. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. People really sleep on this card, man. Nobody ever sees this coming. I know it's a little mediocre, but it's really a soul ring sniper. And of course, Zealous Conscripts, 4 and a red for a creature, human warrior. It's a 3/3 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent until end of turn. Untap that permanent, gains haste until end of turn. You know, you grab something, then you sacrifice it for value. Fantastic card. Goes infinite with a couple different cards, but that's kind of a different deck. Now, of course, you also have some nice human interaction. Fencer, Shaper, Savant. We could all use a little human interaction, let's be honest. Fencer, Shaper, Savant is a classic, of course. Then you have Urtai, Resurrected, 2 blue and a black, legendary creature. Phyrexian, human wizard. It's a 3/2 with flash. When this guy enters the battlefield, choose up to 1. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. Its controller draws a card or destroy another target creature or planeswalker. So you're targeting, dude. And its controller draws a card. I mean, really, there's too many to list. Humans is a very powerful tribe. I mean, we almost killed all the lions, dude, and we definitely killed all the yetis. There aren't too many specific human payoffs in these colors, but sticking to one tribe plays into another facet of this graveyard filling strategy, and that's mass reanimation. Specifically, Patriarch's Bidding, Haunting Voyage, these are creature type specific mass reanimation spells that pay off all those crimes that you're committing and all the cards you're seeing and putting in your graveyard. You're bringing back your humans back from the dead in a Pet Cemetery type situation that's sure to make everyone nuts when you get all those triggers again. So guess what, man? If you like this character, after all that, I think Marchesa is pretty good, very wide commander. You could go in a lot of different directions. I would go with a pure Steel and Sack sub-theme, you know, with some reanimator on the side for funsies, because you're going to get a lot of cards in those graveyards. You can power out both strats with Marchesa's powerful card selection and graveyard shenanigans. So stay safe out there, brothers. Thanks for watching me pontificate on old Marchesa here. Nicky G signing off.